Discovery, the Green Bay Packers and all of Wisconsin wish you, and especially Mark Lee, a good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Alright, since I'm in such good shape, I'm going to do all of these up here. Count, count. Alright, setting. A3 counterclockwise 210. Counterclockwise. Yeah. Alright, Dr. Stevie, take me down. Go down. Okay, stop. Stop. Mark, they should come out 7.5 to 9 turns, and of course watch for the washer. Alright, I need the FRT again. Clear? I'm going to let go of the FRT. Alright, I'm going to pull off and see if that bolt, tell me if that bolt starts to come with. And move, you can't bump the MFR. So far, okay. Roll it a little bit to the left. So left, roll left, roll. This side up a little bit. There you go, so I can see it. Alright, now tell me if it comes with. Mark, do we need to wait till Steve gets there before I bring you down? I have it. Keep coming forward. Okay, forward. Houston, Discovery.
Go ahead, JT.
You have a go for DIU aliveness test.
Copy. Good work, Mark and Steve. Liveness test in work. Discovery Houston, DIU aliveness test successful.
Fantastic, Mark. Thanks for the news. Stop. Great news. Yeah, the battery kind of blocks any view. Well, let me just measure it here. close to it. Okay, Dr. C, take me out.
Okay, back out.
All right, take me in.
Okay, going in again. And check the stanchion position, Mark.
I know.
All right, that's good. You think the left side's okay still?
Left side didn't change.
Okay. And it's inside the battery, isn't it?
Yeah. Good job on that. That was not much fun. Yeah, well, it was. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's go out.
Going out.
2 feet. Holy cow. I've got the Hubble Space Telescope, Sharks Bay, and the planet Earth and the moon in my view.
Just an average day for
What a great place to be. Where's the moon? And these good-looking guys over here. The moon is over the port wing, right above Sharks Bay.
Just an average day for a couple spacewalkers.
You guys enjoy it. That's great up there. Just one more word on this MLI business. What we want to do is to avoid doing anything that will distract anybody's mind from the current EVA at hand, because that's the #1 priority. And we will be scheduling time later on to talk about this whole issue, so that you can get your inputs to us. And we will have a full discussion on the whole issue.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Got some good news. The commands have gone through to the Esther, and it will be ready for you when you get there. And you'll be glad to know that all the commanding has been done through the new DIU, which you just finished installing. So complete success. Good work. Great hands, Mark.
Well, the whole surface of the telescope looks different on this side because of the constant exposure to the sun. The handrails are a different color. The MLI has little spider web cracks in it.
Yeah, the handrails look like they've got a really good suntan, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. That happen to be Houston, Texas?
You're exactly right. We just went over Houston. Hello, Houston.
Hello, Discovery. We're waving.
I wonder if anybody's still awake down there.
A few of us are.
And you guys are doing a fantastic job supporting us. We appreciate it.
Okay, Joe, I'm going to mate 1, 2, and 3 up. Start with 1. One is on. Hello?
Okay, why don't you pitch down just a little bit? All right, stop right there.
You see all 4 connectors?
Yes, we can. And we're going to zoom just a little bit.
Okay.
All right, hold your shot right there.
H-15 now has a solid-state tape recorder. Good job, Steve. Okay. MFO swap. And could you put that trash bag on the bayonet fitting, the top bayonet fitting opposite the PIP? Okay, I will. Let me back away from the telescope first and head me towards the MFR swap there near the lobe.
Okay, that's where I'm headed. Stand up straight once there, Steve.
Yeah, I see the PGT over there. I'll put it on motor counterclockwise for you. Okay, and you want the trash bag off left.
Stage is going to be 135 right, Steve. You want to move that over there?
Okay. Let's see, let's go right and we'll be ready.
Okay, 4 or 5 to the right.
Perfect, perfect.
And Steve, if you might as well just bring those up to the hatch right now and stow them there, and then we'll get the bi-stim thermal shield and repair kits.
Okay. I'm going to stow the PGT in the airlock also. All right, stop.
Stop.
Take me forward a little bit.
Forward.
All right, stop. Okay, what is this one called? P1's made it take me, and stop.
Stop.
Alright, over here, there's a crack that goes over in this area, one that goes across the bottom, one that goes up through the middle here, one that comes over there, a small one in the middle, and another couple small cracks up the left side.
Now we haven't retrieved the thermal shield repair kits yet, but we're going to do that right now. We knew that.
Okay, copy.
But I can confirm that the tethers requested are in the airlock. The tape caddy is with Mark. The MLI repair patch is in the airlock, and the thermal kits will be there soon.
Good morning, Discovery.
Good morning, Chris.
I think his assessment is it's pretty stout.
It looks like one of Doc's patented extenders, so we have absolutely no concern.
Yeah, we think we can tow a trailer with it.
We agree. Discovery Houston, we really appreciate these mid-deck views. PAO is delighted to finally see Dr. Stevie, and I'm very glad to have the pictures. That way I can recognize the voices.
Well, you're welcome, Mark, and I figured I was going to be in trouble unless I got on TV at least once.
Yes, Kyle is visibly relieved.
And we're going to go to the egress on the cuff checklist. Yeah, let's open the thermal shield there. What do you think? Let's do that. And Houston Discovery, tank 408, heater 02A is coming off.
Okay, we copy. Thanks.
Nice job on the Velcro yesterday. Wow.
quite get it all there, Joe. It keeps coming back. There's one more. There you go.
Discovery Houston for Joe. You have some fans who came into the viewing room a moment ago. You might just give them a wave.
Yeah, which camera? And effector? Alpo, excuse me, up and left. Perfect. Probably my mother, father, wife, and 2 children. Hi. Having fun. One more wave. The end effector tether is secured. I may need your help here. Okay, just a sec. Hey, come over this way a little bit. Back me out just a few inches. That's good. Okay, I'm inspecting here. Okay, Steve, I don't see anything at all. Everything looks nice and clean. Just like the best. I've got it. At least I go over here then. Okay, Dr. Stevie, back to the work site, please. Fire away. Okay, you can stop there. I'll stop for now. That was a little too far. Discovery, the EVA camera is a nice view if you have a chance to take a look at it.
We're looking at it, and it's a great view.
Three turns, it is not released.
And Discovery for Greg and Joe. Story's got a big smile on his face, and he's giving you a big thumbs up. We're both envious, and I'm sure that you join us in wanting to congratulate the designers up at Goddard who came up with this really elegant solution to the SADI problem.
Yes, couldn't be happier. And I tell you what, being here in situ, I can appreciate the challenge that you two faced in doing it the first time. We wouldn't be able to do it this easily if it wasn't for you and if it wasn't for those guys at Goddard. If for some reason we have to keep a case. This box is coming with us anyway, so... That's right. So, Dr. Stevie, I am tethered to the old STS-82 right now. Okay, we copy. Pending release of this last bolt.
Greg, since we can't really see the connectors on ST-82, can you come up and pan down? There you go. Hold it right there also.
There's that tail they were talking. Wally, in the sun.
Need a little more to your right, Greg?
Yes, a little more to the right. We're about 6 feet in front of the telescope, so you can take me out some also.
Okay, going aft.
There's our space shuttle tail section.
Discovery Houston, superb work on the magnetometers. We have a nice view of the aperture cover. And a question for the EVA folks, which looks farther away, the Earth or the shuttle at this point?
A close call. The Earth almost looks like you could touch it. And Steve, this is for Keith. The view is just unbelievable.
Greg, while we're getting some pictures, just a reminder, the first thing we're going to do is cut off a curled edge from the torn area, about a 4x4 or bigger, and put it in the trash bag. And your choice where to do that.
Get my scissors out. Okay, you got the trash caddy.
This view looking from one of the bulkhead cameras in the payload bay, looking up at Joe Tanner and Greg Harbaugh. Joe Tanner's the free-floating astronaut with the diagonal stripes on the legs of his suit, while Greg Harbaugh is mounted in the manipulator foot restraint on the end of the shuttle's robot arm. The two astronauts have just wrapped up the task installing new covers over the magnetic sensing system sensors.
Okay, Dr. Stevie, back me out. Let's take another look.
Backing you out.
And Discovery Houston, we've been watching from the ground, and everybody is marveling at Greg's superb skills in putting that blanket. It looks really great. We haven't seen the top one, but that one looks fabulous.
Good view right there.
Oh, okay. One of these close-up shots? Zoom in over there or something?
Okay, slightly to your left and up a little bit. Come left. More. There we go. We're upside down. That's Dr. Stevie in the window there, though.
I see him.
And we see that, and you do have a go for rotate when they're clear.
All right, thanks. Go ahead and pan up, Joe.
That's a good view of Sox. And also Dr. Stevie, we think.
That is Sox and Stevie.
Yeah, they've been working hard today. Well, guys, I guess we've really left our mark on this telescope. Mark, I do want to express my appreciation for all the folks on the ground that worked these procedures. I know it was probably a sleepless couple days for some folks, and Jeff Hoffman and Jerry Ross and whoever else in the EVA community and all the Goddard guys had teamed up to come up with this much of the repair work. I think it was just superb. It was very easy to execute. So, many thanks.
Those words are much appreciated.
Greg, if you take a second to look to the left, past that left solar, you can see the tip of Africa.
Yeah.
And then the Namib Desert, I'm sure, Joe, you'll be able to see it here in a second.
Got it already. Tell you what, the world will never look the same to me. Either.
Good morning, Discovery.
Good morning, Chris.
Yes, but can you do the Pac Arena?
I want to make sure my security blanket gets on TV, Chris. This is from my son Matthew. It flooded out of my sleeping bag on the first day.
Welcome.
Okay, well, things are out of control here. Here's my mom and all the gang at Walmart in Roseville, Wisconsin. They'll love this one when they see it. I'll do the Pac Arena when I come home.
While we're showing pictures, this is my family standing in my workplace at home, and I just found something that they had worked up for me. Some very fine artwork that I hadn't seen before, so thanks a lot, you guys, and I love you and I miss you. I'll see you soon. I guess I'll get off the ergometer for a minute here and show my family. There's Lisa and the Cherub. I hope you guys are having fun. We're having a great time up here. See you soon. Well, and right now KU is number one in basketball, but here's a picture of the real number one person. So thanks a lot.
All right, that's good.
Stop. Steve, can you look down and see if both those...
I already did. I can't see him from where I'm at. I can pop down there real fast.
No, that's okay.
You'll find out when you throw a switch. Okay, stop.
Stop.
Some uranium around down there. Guys just turned the starboard one off, right?
No, we turned the aft port off.
Well, it's the starboard one then.
All right, well, we'll wait 10 minutes and then turn it
Sorry
on.
about that.
Upper right wire clips to the bay 9 door inside door stop.
All right, stop.
Stop.
To the doors.
Discovery Houston on the upper right attachment.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, I'm afraid the HST people don't really trust the MLI. I understand your words that you've gone to the entire thickness of it. I guess the fear is what might happen over the next 3 years given the observed deterioration that we saw during the last 3 years. Let me give you a couple of ideas, and it's really your choice. Number one, if there's enough wire to actually wrap around the doorstop and back on itself, if that would work. Number two, if you have access to the ribs on the bay 9 door and can clip to that. Number three, to actually pull up the MLI and wrap the wire and the clamp underneath and then redo the Velcro and hold it like that.
I got a better idea. Let's get one of those extenders. I'll wrap one of those extenders around and clip the...
Oh, okay, you think the extender will lock tight on that doorstop?
No, but I can wrap the extender around the doorstop and then twist it and hook to that.
All right, I like that idea too, Houston. I think Mark's come up with a really good plan here.
That sounds great. And like we say, you're on the spot, so you're the ones who have the best ability to decide.
Okay, stop.
Stop.
Off him. I gotta go to a higher torque setting.
Scan the attach points real quick. In Houston Discovery, one reason that particular patch looks a little bit funny and looks like that upper left might be too tight is because there's nothing pulling on the lower left corner.
Let's go look at it.
Copy, Joe T.
Okay, you're on it. Take me forward. Going forward. Can we get that aft payload bay light? Okay, let's see. All three latches on the slope are latched.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yes, in the last half hour, Goddard has noticed a glitch on one of the RWAs, not the one you changed out, but RWA number 2 in base 6. They would like to perform some testing on it. It may take 15 to 30 minutes just to assure themselves that nothing is wrong with it. In the meantime, because we want to keep open the possibility of changing it out today, we would like you to hold off doing anything further, and we would like you to go into the airlock and connect to the SCUs, and we'll get back to you as soon as we have confirmation on the state of the RWA.
Okay, we'll go to the airlock.
Which RWA is it, Joe? So what are the steps then? We're hooking up here now. All we're doing. Okay.
Yeah,
This
thermal,
is O2.
you can close the thermal cover, turn your waters off.
Did we get confirmation of these steps, or don't we need to?
Hell yeah.
To leave the thermal cover open, that's why we're...
And Houston Discovery for EVA verification.
Our second home away from home this week here. Okay, Joe, the thermal cover is coming closed now.
Discovery Houston with an attempt to explain the glitch.
We're ready to listen.
Okay, what's happened is that Goddard powered up RWAs 2, 3, and 4 a while back, and when you do power them up, and they haven't had torque applied to them, but when they're powered up, they do rotate a little bit. Now, RWAs 3 and 4 are rotating at about 20 RPM, and they sort of drift, and that's normal. However, RWA 2 is hardly rotating, perhaps 1 RPM. And so they're a little bit concerned that possibly there might be a problem. However, at the moment, the assessment is the probability of a problem is very low. However, to be on the safe side, what they're doing is coming up with a test which they want to verify in the vest. That's going to take 30, 45 minutes, and then we'll put the RWA2 through that test, spin it up, and check it out, and then we'll have a higher degree of confidence that it's working properly. And so in the meantime, we're going to ask you to hold. Another thing with RWA2 is that it is a little colder than the other RWAs.
Okay, I'll give you the bottom line first, and that is that we're going to proceed with a final payload bay cleanup, which means to go right into your post-depress and get on out and proceed as though there will be no EVA tomorrow. Goddard is continuing their test of the reaction wheel assembly, but it's going to be at least a couple of hours before they would know enough to make a decision, and that's why we're proceeding with the cleanup. We will, however, maintain an option, of course, to do an EVA plus deploy tomorrow if that should be necessary. We will hold off on doing any reboost today until we know some more. So that's basically the story, and we'll be working on bookkeeping the record of maximum time spent on the SCU, but in the meantime, carry on with your post-depress and enjoy the last of the EVA.
Off, and you go to egress. Thermal shield.
Coming, and we're both still tethered just like we were before.
Copy.
Okay, is the camera all clear? My feet clear much? Yeah, good. Okay. Hey Jeff, I wanted to say one thing. That's almost everybody on this crew, in fact everyone on this crew has supported flights from Mission Control before. We've got some flight controllers up here, ex-flight controllers. Got some ex-Capcoms. A lot of people have supported Span and the Murr. And since we've been where you guys are before, we know how hard you've worked getting ready for the mission. Even when everything goes nominally, we know you put in long hours and a lot of hard work. And the success of this mission really proves that you all have done a great job. So many thanks to all the people at the stock and at Houston's Mission Control and all the other ground locations supporting this mission. We've all been there before, and we understand the sacrifices you made to make sure this mission was successful.
And I just wanted to tell you how much I've enjoyed talking with you guys during the EVA and how much everyone down here appreciates the TLC that all of you have given the Hubble telescope.
Well, Jeff, as an IV, I want to tell you it's been a pleasure working with you, and we've got a whole lot of confidence in the team down there, and you've been an excellent spokesman, as well as Mark, and it's been a real joy to work with all of you. Thank you very much.
Discovery Houston with some word on RWA.
Go ahead.
We just completed a test on reaction wheel number 2. It's good. Checks out just fine.
Oh, great. That's good news.
So we're going to go ahead and press with our plan here for reboost to kick off at 1 hour, 33 minutes.
Okay, we'll get set up to kick off reboost at 1:33.
Good morning, Discovery. It's time to put Hubble back into the sky.
Hey, good morning, Chris. We're ready to do that. Houston Discovery. HST is free to study the stars.
And we watched it all on television. Beautiful spectacle.
And Houston, the burn TIG was 21:46:49.
Copy.
The Hubble team recently completed a celebration over in the customer support room, and everybody is just ecstatic. It's been a great week that you guys have spent with Hubble, and we look forward to putting it to work now.
Yeah, Jeff, those guys have put in some great work over the last few days, over the last few years, and hope they get a little time off before they have to ramp up for the next mission.
Is it true that you describe this as like winning the Super Bowl, Mark?
Well, that's what I said this morning. You know, I'm from Wisconsin, a big Packer fan, and you sort of equate it to winning the Super Bowl, and it takes a lot of teamwork, dedication, leadership, a good organization, a lot of support from different people, and that's what NASA had, from the Johnson Space Center to Goddard. Many other people, contractors, all pulled together and pulled this and accomplished this mission, and it was great.
What was the most difficult aspect of all of the surprises that were thrown in? I mean, I know you guys train a lot and you know what you're doing up there, but what threw you for a loop?
I don't think anything threw us for a loop. I think we did an excellent job, both on the ground and on board, adapting to the situation. There was an awful lot of preparation work that went into this flight, and when we had some things come up, such as the insulation, in real time, that team on the ground that supports us went to work and came through like true professionals, and just did a spectacular job looking at what we had available here on board and figuring out what we could do with it. And I think the end product was just terrific.
Joe Tanner, I'd like to ask you a question, if we can pass the mic over to you. What was the view like from, I guess it was something like 370 miles up? What did you think about when you were looking down at Earth?
Well, when you have time to look down, because most of the time we're concentrating on the tasks, every once in a while you have a spare moment and you look, and of course your first impression is just wonderment about what you're seeing. You're trying to convince your brain that what your eyes are seeing is real. It's an incredible sight. We have an opportunity to look through the orbiter windows, but that vision is restricted somewhat in the field of view that you could see. The spacesuit opens that field of view up a little bit, and you just marvel at what a magnificent planet that is here that we've been given to live on.
Steve Smith, I know that you and Mark Lee did the fifth and unscheduled walk. How would you describe the condition of the Hubble? Either of you, Mark Lee or Steve Smith, can answer this one.
Well, considering that the telescope has been in space for 7 years and traveled tens of billions of miles, it's actually in very good shape. The side of the telescope that faces the sun did have some what I'll call blistering on it. Some of the insulation had bubbled, and there were some cracks in it. But that I don't want to lose perspective that, you know, most of the telescope was in excellent shape. When we opened up about 9 different doors to get inside of Hubble, everything inside was in pristine condition. The vacuum of space, of course, is a very clean environment generally, and inside the telescope looked brand new, basically. So putting 9 new boxes in, all that worked really well, was very rewarding, and it looks really good inside.
Telescope is flying free of the shuttle right now. The astronauts winding down after an often tense 6 days of spacewalking and releasing the telescope. Mark Lee, as payload commander, give me your assessment of this mission. How would you grade it and compare it to previous times you've been up on the shuttle?
Well, I'd have to give it an A+ for several reasons. First of all, you get an A when you accomplish everything that you're supposed to do, and the plus gets thrown in for the support we got from the crew and all the contingency things we were able to accomplish. So when you're able to do everything plus take care of all the problems that we're throwing in, and the great part about that is we were ready for most of them. It gives it an A+ in my mind.
Steve Smith, I see you have a spacesuit floating there next to you. How did it work? How good was it? And what would you do to improve it for future spacewalkers?
Well, John, the spacesuit actually worked very well. We practiced with very similar suits in the water in Houston and in Huntsville, Alabama at the Marshall Space Flight Center. And the suits that we actually wear in space were acted just like the ones we practice in. They're pressurized at 4.3 pounds per square inch. You are working very hard on them. It's a little bit hard to reach some things because your reach is limited a little bit by the suits, but in general they worked great. This was the first flight that we wore some new suits that we could actually resize in space very easily. Joe and I shared a spacesuit. That's the first time that's been done. We wore it basically 5 days in a row by just changing out the arms and the legs to fit each of us.
For Joe Tanner, one of my favorite moments was the instant you stuck your spacesuit and your head outside the door into the cargo bay. What was going through your mind as you went outside for the first time?
Well, others that have traveled that same road have told me that I would probably be filled with a mixture of emotions. One of those being awe at the sight. Now, I was maybe fortunate not to get too distracted because when I first stuck my head out, it was at night, and it was just black except for the lights of the payload bay and the lights in my helmet. The other reaction that people frequently have is that they want to grab a hold of the handrail right there with a death grip, thinking that if they let go, they might fall all the way to the earth. And once again, it was at night, so I didn't get to experience that. But it was a moment that I had looked forward to for a long, long time. And when you've anticipated a moment like that for such a long period of time, and it finally happens, it really is a tremendous feeling of satisfaction to finally accomplish that. And that's kind of what was going through my mind. Hello, Mr. Golden.
Congratulations. It is unbelievable. 5 spacewalks this time, 5 spacewalks last time. NASA astronauts 10, failure 0 on the EVAs. This is wonderful. You folks, you just look easy. But I want to tell you, I know what skill and courage it took to get this job done. And, tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to go talk to some students with Dr. Mary Weber, and these kids are just excited about space, and you're inspiring future generations. What do you think I ought to tell these kids about the mission, about what it takes to be successful in life, and to be a future astronaut? What do you think they ought to do?
Well, sir, what I always say is set goals and work hard. Study hard in school and try to have fun while you're doing those two things. But I think some of the other guys may have some ideas, too. Well, Mr. Golden, whenever I speak to kids, I always give them 2 really easy messages. One is do well in everything you do, including school. And the other is if you fall down along the pathway, get up. So that's, even my 4-year-old knows that if you fall down, get up.
We talked about safety for people and equipment and the kind of things we did to prepare. This clearly is very, very important, and there's no guarantee when you go to the edge of the frontier in space. Did you learn anything on this lesson about safety, about the procedures that we prepared? What do you think?
Well, sir, I think what I learned is we know how to do this job. We know how to work in space, and we know how to fly space shuttles safely. I think it's real important that we don't cut any corners, and I think the whole workforce knows that. But again, let one of the other guys answer.
Sure.
Well, sir, this is Scott Horowitz. Safety was something that was always on all our minds, especially as a pilot, in the flying community. We grew up thinking about safety and safe operation of vehicles, and I just have to give real credit to all the folks that supported us on this mission. Everyone who works on the vehicle and prepares the equipment, and all the safety that they have in mind and all their procedures. Because if they weren't so diligent, we couldn't do this job safely. So I guess it's just nice to know that we're supporting those folks in every way we can, and I hope we keep doing it because of them and their efforts, we can continue to do this job safely.
I'll tell you, this was a great mission, and you opened a window on the world.
Discovery Houston's back.
Welcome back.
Good morning, Discovery. If you look out the window a little more than 500 miles off to the northeast, you'll see the Houston Rodeo.
Yay! Good morning. Wish we could be there. Listen to Constable Bill Bailey and Reba.
Houston Discovery.
Go ahead, Dr. Stevie.
Do y'all have KU band right now?
Yes, sir.
If you want to select the alpha camera, I'll show you Comet Hale Bob.
And we're watching it right now. It's showing up right in the middle.
Yes, sir.
Sure is great to have an astronomer
With
on board.
binoculars, it's a lot more impressive, Mark, but it's kind of neat on TV anyway.
Certainly is, and we were saying it's great to have an astronomer on board.
I think we should always have astronomers on board.
Jeff Hoffman's not here to agree with you.
Okay, message for Jerry Leninger on the Mir Space Station from your three classmates, three fellow hogs in Discovery, orbiting at 335 nautical miles, 334 I guess today. We say hi to you, Jerry, and we've been thinking about you frequently during our mission here. We wish that we were in an orbit that we could pass a little closer to each other and maybe talk a little bit, but we're very proud of all the work that you're doing there, and we're looking after your family real close. I guess they're in Russia right now, but we're keeping track of them, and we're hoping that you're doing well and all of your experiments are going well and that you're just having a great time. We look forward to seeing you when you get back. Here's Scott.
Hey, Jared, it's Doc. I hope you're having a real good time over there on that Mir Space Station. Obviously, you're doing all that great stuff to get us ready for the next generation of spacecraft we're getting ready to build. We had a blast here on the Hubble telescope mission. I got to fix a lot of stuff, so I was a happy camper. If you got anything broken on Mir, give me a holler. I'll come and fix it. I don't charge much for house calls. Here's Stevie. Hey, Jerry, it's Steve Smith calling. Joe and I had the opportunity to go out the door here a couple times on this flight, and we know you're going to be doing that in the next month or two, so I just want to tell you it's a great time, it's a good experience, and we look forward to sharing your thoughts on that. Your family's fine. We've seen them quite a bit, actually, before they headed back to Russia, and it's been really fun thinking that we're all up here together. You take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. And again, the lights of Florida. That's Miami in the upper right-hand corner. You can see the Cape in the middle of the screen right now. And Orlando's the large city in the lower part of the screen going out of view.
Copy.
And the lower left-hand corner of this picture is Long Island in New York. You can see it quite clearly. Sox can almost see the darkness of Central Park with some binoculars.
Now that's good vision.
Hey, Kevin, the entry messages are coming in, the tips, and go ahead.
Okay, well, we're waiting for the tips to spit out the messages. The weather for the Cape tomorrow is looking fairly good. Some scattered clouds at low and high altitudes. Our only concern right now is possible showers inside the box, but we think we have a good chance of getting into Kennedy. Edwards is also looking good. Obviously tomorrow as it gets daylight, we'll evaluate the weather and see exactly what our options are. But right now we think we have a good chance of bringing you down to the prime place tomorrow.
That's great, Kevin.
And just for your info, the winds at this time of the year at KSC are pretty light at high altitude, 30 to 40 knots. And of course, out of the west, they're out of the northwest at Edwards, run around 75 knots.
This is Michelle Coyden with the Associated Press. This is for Joe Tanner. It seems like this is kind of like training for a marathon. You train for months and months and then it's over. Can you describe what you're feeling now? Are you relieved? Are you kind of let down that it's over?
Well, no, I'm not let down at all, and we're having a great time still, and yes, a little relieved that everything went so well, and I mean, we had hoped it would go this well, and it's just it's a sense of accomplishment for the whole team on the ground and in the orbiter here that everything went as well as it did. And no, I'm not feeling what my brother and I refer to as big meat letdown at all. I'm still really pumped up and probably will be for a long time.
Steve Smith, 100 years from now, people will look back on Hubble as having revolutionized the way we see ourselves in the universe. How do you feel about having a part in that?
Well, it's been a great honor to be a part of this. We'd always heard that Hubble was just a fantastic machine, and to actually be able to put our hands on it and work on it has been very special. I think it's going to be one of the fondest memories of my not only my career as an astronaut, but of my whole life.
This is Mark Carreau from the Houston Chronicle, and I'll ask this to Greg Harbaugh, and if it's not in the right direction, please sort it out. But my question has to do really with the process by which you sort of discovered the damage to the outer layer of the space telescope during the spacewalks. It wasn't clear to me whether you could see it from the crew cabin or it was something that sort of surprised you as you got right up on the telescope. And I wonder if you might elaborate a little bit on what you saw. Was there sort of extensive minor damage with acute damage that you could repair, or was there really more damage than you could get to that looked bad, you just could fix what you could with the amount of materials you had available to you for the patches?
There was quite a bit of damage, Mark, and my personal experience was I didn't realize how extensive it was until I got up close and looked at it. My impression and my assessment is that it's fairly superficial. It's the outer layer or two of the multi-layer insulation that's just been cycled so many times in going through the thermal transitions for the millions of miles that this telescope has traveled that it's finally fatigued in some places, and so it cracks. And so you have these spider-type cracks in places and spiderweb-type cracks, and in other places it'd be long, straight cracks and splits, that sort of thing. I think we repaired quite a bit of that. I think we couldn't do everything, but frankly, I'm amazed at how much we were able to repair out of all that we had seen. I think we left the telescope in really good shape.
Thank you. I have a question also for Mark Lee. I wonder if you might be able to elaborate some on some comments you made about this set of spacewalks and what you see will be required for space station assembly. Were you heartened by what you could do to react and be flexible in the way you prepared for this? Do you see that sort of thing applying to the many assembly flights that astronauts will be required to undertake for the space station assembly?
Well, I think there's a lot of parallels here, and I think most of it deals with preparation. what you have to do for a planned spacewalk like this is cover every possibility. When you get up here, there's no hardware store to go get another wrench or aluminum foil or anything you need, so you have to think about everything that can go wrong, and that's the key thing to carry forward to station. So we're going to talk a lot about planning when we get back. The other thing is we have a lot of space station tools up here, our pistol grip tool, our power tool, a lot of the handrails that we have, other components, our space station era tools. So they work great, and I'm very confident about our ability to build space station. And in fact, you know, 4 of the spacewalkers here today will probably take part in that. So we've got the experience to carry forward to station.
This is Michelle Coyden again for Greg Harbaugh. What went through your mind when it looked like there might be a 6th spacewalk?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
I think that kind of speaks for itself. We had such a great time on the first 2. The third would have been icing on the cake. But the fact that we didn't do it was just fine with Joe and I think what we had, and the 2 that we did do was 2 experiences of a lifetime. I feel very, very privileged to have been able to do what we already have been able to do.
And for Steve Hawley, will it be tough for you to hold out until May when the first images are supposed to be released?
Well, I expect those weeks will go by fairly slowly. We've been talking about how long it'll be before the instruments are fully checked out, and we'll know exactly what capability Hubble has. And we're very hopeful, but of course, until those instruments prove themselves, there'll still be some uncertainty as to the capability. But things have gone very well up to now, and my expectation is that come May, that we'll be very, very pleased with the results.
This is Mark Carreau again for Ken Bowersox. Could you talk a little bit about the intensity of the work? A lot of the attention on the mission was focused on the spacewalk team, but I wonder just sort of what the chemistry was like, if you felt like you were pumped up, all 7 of you working hard, trying to help each other, if you're pretty tired at this point, or whether you're sort of relaxed and ready to land, or just kind of what the state of the state is up there.
Well, I think the overall state of the crew right now is relaxed and prepared to land. We're ready to come home. We're happy with what we've done. From what I could see, every minute we were working as a 7-man team up here. We were in 2 groups. We had 4 people who concentrated on EVA, and we had 3 people who concentrated on the orbiter. And we did that to make training more efficient and just to be a little more efficient in how we divided tasks up. But when one group was working on their particular part of the mission, the other group was pulling strong for them, and it's a great bunch of guys to be associated with, I think.
And one question for Sox. Could you tell us a little bit about, I understand at Kennedy Space Center there are going to be new runway lights in, and you were involved in some of that testing. How is that going to help you with this night landing at KSC?
Well, when we're landing at night, it's just a little bit tougher to judge our lineup with the runway. Especially if you just have side lights there at the runway, it's tough to see the aspect changing as you drift left and right of the center line. So at Kennedy Space Center, we've added a strip of lights down the center to help us with that lineup task when we're in the air, and also once the nose wheel's on the ground, so we have a line to steer for, so we can be right on the center line stripe when we take the picture at the end.
And you guys are the new shuttle altitude holders, highest altitude since the Apollo program. How different does the view look like from that high up versus your previous lower orbit missions?
Well, I can tell you my last mission was relatively low, about 160 miles, and the view from up here is absolutely fantastic. A little while ago we were all amazed watching out the window. You can see almost the entire United States in one window as you look out the shuttle. Especially at night, you can see the lights from all the way down to Key West, all the way up north of New York, and it's an absolutely fantastic sight. It's just an incredibly beautiful planet below us, and from up here we get a much better viewpoint.
since this is probably one of the most important astronomy missions, and you've really not made any kind of astronomy observations, driving in today, we could really see a great view of Hale Bopp. How's Hale Bopp looking for you guys?
Hale Bopp looks great, and matter of fact, we downlinked some video this morning of it. From our perspective, the TV cameras don't really do it justice. In the binoculars that we carry on board, it's very spectacular. Appears to have two tails, one tail about 3 times longer than the other. Really a tremendous sight, and this is a good place to observe it, high above the atmosphere. And the only problem we have is trying to get the ship dark enough so that you can get really well dark adapted. But it's a spectacular sight. Also, in the morning sky, you can see 3 planets rising just before the sun, and again, that's a very spectacular view. The crew's enjoyed that for the last several days.
As a gauge on how little things that can be overlooked can have such grave consequences, during the first EVA, when you depressed and you saw the solar panels slew all the way to the hard stop like that, can you give me your thoughts on what was going through your mind when you saw this? Something relatively minor having such a consequence.
Well, about 3 of us were actually in the windows when that happened, and my attention was diverted to the airlock depress, and at that instant we didn't connect the two, although our depress rate was fairly rapid, and I urgently requested the EVA guys to stop the depress, and then later we determined that those 2 events were connected. But our first thought was, hey, this cannot happen. The solar arrays cannot move that fast. We know about the motors that drive the solar arrays, and they will not drive the solar arrays that fast. So the first impression was one of disbelief. When they finally settled out, which only took a few seconds, as you know, we had to accept the fact that they did move that fast, and we pressed on from there. But we were actually, I thought the cockpit was fairly calm in that moment of crisis, and thank God the arrays held in there pretty good.